Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the world famous podcast, Beating the Press, with myself, Ty, obviously my beautiful co-host Kristian as well. Today you will notice two things. Number one, we are both wearing the same matching top, and this only happens when we have a wonderful subject to talk about. So, I'm sure you want to know why you're tuning in. It is because today we will be talking about, in our opinion, the best player in the world at the moment, Mo Salah. We'll discuss whether he gets the credit he deserves. Does he deserve to be recognised up there alongside Messi and Ronaldo at the moment? If not, why not? All that and more next.
Yeah, so you actually gave away the game immediately. Like, we were actually about to discuss whether he was the best player in the world or not right now. And my question to you, my first question was going to be, how does it feel to have the best player in the world playing for your football team? So I think it's safe to say we've given like the cat out of the bag. We actually, right now, we believe on current form, I'm going to say in current form, he is the best player in the world. Now, obviously, you've got to preface that with the fact that Lionel Messi still exists. Obviously, he's gone through a bit of a time at PSG, but some of the things that Mo Salah is doing at the moment is phenomenal. Like, he's doing it in, arguably the hardest league in the world, the best league in the world, against the best defenders in the world. And like, his start of the season has been amazing. 9 goals in 9 appearances, 3 assists. And I was watching the game against Man City the other night, and I mean on Sunday, and those guys are phenomenal. Man City, they're absolutely brilliant. And although we didn't start on Sunday, we didn't start very well, particularly that first half. It was one of the poorest showings. I was just thinking to myself, even the best players can get done by a great team, and Mo Salah was nowhere to be seen in reality. And I was just thinking, it's just going to be one of those games. And he just steps up like he always does, and he just absolutely rinses some of the best defenders in the world, and just does what he continually does. What were your thoughts on the game the other night, and particularly his goal?
Yeah, I mean, the Salah game, I'm not, I watched a lot of football and I don't get surprised or shocked by stuff that happens. But the second goal he scored, he has zero right to score that goal. I mean zero. I mean, if Messi gets that ball, my reaction would have been exact. Messi scored goals, which has made me do my celebration and reaction, what he did. And I remember what I said. I said, you can't be doing that. That's obviously you celebrate. I'm like shouting, you can't be doing that, Mo Salah.
Yeah.
Because it's about 5-6 things in the space of about 10 seconds that all had to be perfect, and he nailed every single one of them. The first one, they look over the shoulder, the power to knock Cancelo off, and then they roll over the foot. And it's not like the ball's bouncing. It's not like it's a perfectly score. So it's roll over the foot. Get to Laporte. He's going to look like he's going to shoot. He's chopped back so quick on his weaker foot. He thinks he's got him covered. The angle's ridiculous. He finds a corner. And I just, you're watching that. And then forget that the goal before as well. When he skipped past Cancelo's challenge, drives inside, and he plays a perfectly weighted pass. It was literally 2 things that Messi does. That's the biggest compliment I can say to him. And we'll talk about where he stands with it all, but we're watching that game, and I remember I messaged you, and I'd normally send you WhatsApp message. I actually left you a voice note because I literally had nothing left. I was like, it'd be actually good if we actually played it, because I don't remember what I said, because I was just absolutely off my. I was like, I cannot believe that's just happened.
I don't believe what I've just seen. I don't believe it. I've watched football all my life. I can't believe that he's just done that. The guy's unbelievable. I'm lost. I have no words. No, he doesn't. What am I supposed to say to that? What?
It's a little bit cringy listening to myself back, but it's not so bad. But that was exactly what I said. I literally had no words, and I was like, you can't be doing stuff like that. And yeah, we've just, he's just given us a lead, because you've got to think in the context of the game as well. It had just gone 1-1. Man City were just starting to get, a bit on, and it's like one of those really tight games with goals where you had to come by. So him to score a goal like that was just, ridiculous. And then his celebration was quite calm. I thought, just walking last year, I do this all the time. But yeah, no, I think without doubt at the moment, current form, the best player in the world. And the reason why I say that is we could talk the stats, 9 and 9, all them assists. That's fine. It's all right. It's very short term, and that's one thing we sort of pride ourselves on. We never look short term. We look at his last 4 or 5 years for Liverpool. The numbers have just been phenomenal. He is an all-time. I thought Carragher did it right. He is an all-time Liverpool legend. There is absolutely no doubt about that now. He doesn't get the credit other players get, and I don't know what it is. If he's a Liverpool player, I mean, we've had some great strikers in our time, at Liverpool. When I say our time, well, whilst we've sort of been watching them, Suarez, Torres, Fowler. Oh, we've had some brilliant top strikers. But Mo Salah is doing stuff and taking it to different levels. Even last season, when everything was, his numbers were still good. You look at his numbers of just, he scores his first touch is brilliant. He's so strong. He does not get the credit he deserves for being how strong he is. He's just unbelievably good. But I just think he's, it seems to be like Mbappe and Haaland. He seems to have a, more of a, they're higher up on the agenda and who's the best player in the world. And the numbers are nowhere close. I mean, we talk about Haaland. His numbers might be good for a year. Come back to us when you've done it for 4 years in a proper league. I mean, don't get me, Bundesliga is fine, but Sancho's struggling at the moment, so we've got to sort of see what the difference between that league and the Premier League. I do think the Premier League is at the current, because it's the best league in Europe, just simply because of the number of teams that get to the later stages of the Champions League. And I think that's a really good way of find out who he is. But I just think he's brilliant and top notch. And Klopp mentioned it as well, and that's really, really good. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, Klopp did mention about him being world class, and if Messi done this, then obviously everybody be claiming world class, and that's because he is world class. I've got it here: 134 goals in 212 games. Like for a forward, well, not even a striker. Obviously he's a forward. It is just ridiculous, and I'm just saying there that he's the 10th highest scorer in Liverpool's history. Now, obviously, we've had greats in the past. You think of Ian Rush, Kenny Dalglish. We're not old enough to remember them, but we do remember the likes of, like you mentioned there, Torres, Suarez, and Gerrard. I'm first of all going to ask you, how does he compare? I'll take Torres out of the equation. How does he compare to Suarez's best season against in the Premier League?
I think the fact that he's won the Premier League and Champions League, he's got to go in front. I always thought Suarez was better. Suarez was phenomenal, brilliant. But what Salah's done throughout, and if you take, Suarez has had a nasty side to him as well. Salah doesn't have a nasty. Do you know what I mean? I think that makes a difference as well. As much as, when he's our player, you're like, yeah, we're all for him, we're with you. And Carragher's obviously come out and said the way they reacted to the everything was completely wrong. He's biting. He's absolutely not an angel, Suarez. Salah is about as close as he can. You don't hear anything bad about him. He looks after himself. His goals, everything he does for the team, you never hear him moaning. He might throw, if he's taken off as a sub, he might get a bit pissed off, but that's just normal. Do you know what I mean? All the top players are like that. So no, I think Salah has now done what he's done over the last 4 or 5 years. He has elevated himself to be better and above those players, and quite rightly so as well. The only question I thought you were going to ask, I'm going to ask you a question now, okay? Salah or Gerrard?
I saw a lot of tweets after the game, and a lot of them were like Suarez v Salah, and then I think a lot of people were going heavy on Salah, and then a lot of people, very surprisingly, a lot of Liverpool fans were going with Salah, and I can't do it to Stevie. I can't do it. I can't do it. He went through with us in the hardest possible time. He dragged us through so many situations.
Yeah.
Salah, he's had maybe last season where we were, at our worst, and even at our worst, we were still the third best team in the Premier League. Arguably the second, but statistically we're the third best team. And rarely throughout Stevie's career were we the third best team in the league.
Yeah.
And I just think what Stevie done, I can't elevate him to that level yet. But the fact that he's in that conversation, the fact that he's remotely close, the fact that he possibly could surpass Stevie as our greatest player in our era, then that says something in itself.
When you asked me the first question, I was really hoping you didn't ask me that, because my reaction would have been I wouldn't have. I can't look at the moment. I'd have them both level. And that's taking everything into consideration. Everything you said about Gerrard, spot on about what he's done previously, and Salah's goals and what he's done for the club in terms of sort of elevating him to be the best in England and in Europe as well. But he's consistently done it, such as Gerrard. played with some absolute dog shit players, and I think that's, you've got to look at it. So we've sort of seen that, and they scored some phenomenal. He's a Champions League fan. There's so much about Stevie and Salah's a different thing, but I think at the moment Salah, there's no one better than him in the world. He's just, you know, and I think, but you know, we could get to January, we might have a, you know, shit spell, but I think he's such a brilliant player that I think it's going to continue for him. And I think he'll end up being, you know, one of the top scorers in the league again. Quite, you know, that's no, you know, that's not a massive prediction at all. It's just, you know,
it's like you said at the beginning. We're quite good with taking ourselves away from that short-termism mentality. You know, we can all get hyped in the moment and say that Salah is the greatest Liverpool player. When you think about things, you know, you do bring Stevie into it, and like you say, you know, form. It could dip towards the end of the season. At one point in his life, Steven Gerrard was the best player in the world. Regardless of whether he got the award, he was the best player in midfielder in the world, and everyone wanted him in his team. But yeah, like we say, like Salah's just ridiculous. I mentioned Suarez earlier, and like I'm with you. I think that he's eclipsed Suarez just because, you know, you can kind of be forgiven if he wanted to, you know, move to a bigger club, even though that option is not as prevalent as what it was when Suarez was around. But he is, like, you can kind of forgive him for not being necessarily defensively great or anything like that, tracking or anything like that. But if anything, he's getting better. Like, he's getting more, like, you're getting more out of him these days, and he also brings that marketable side of him. You know, he brings a continent with him.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Just to wrap it up, you know, we wanted to do this, Salah. I want a really quick one. I mean, just to point out, I'd imagine he's obviously contract's running out. The first thing I'd say to the board is give him whatever he wants. Just the as always, got a question of the day, and this is going to be, you know, like, probably you can guess it before the words come out of my mouth. Quite simply, is Salah the best player in the world? Questions down there, as always. Let us know, comments. You know, we do respond to every comment. If you don't think it is, let us know who it is. And let us know why as well, and we'll continue the discussion. It would be great to see where we are at the end of the season as well with it. So that'll be great. But yeah, and if you've not, you know, if you haven't subscribed and you've listened to us this far, I always say click that like and subscribe button, share it with your friends and family if you're feeling really generous. Make two guys happy that, you know, we've spent over a year in this now. we're getting up with those numbers, but we're still doing it. We enjoy it. Hope you enjoyed it as well. And until next time, guys, it's bye from me.
See you later, guys.
See you.